Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another, a little late episode of the Bruins podcast. My name is Stevie, and I am joined by the always stunning. I didn't check the comments for the adjectives. So
Hi guys, I'm Kyle.
here's Kyle. And this has been one that I've been so excited to do, Kyle, because we finally have a bracket. We are bracketed. We know the paths. There's no more guessing. There's no more um, bracketology. It's all set in stone. Um, and I think that the best place to start here, Kyle, is at the top. Everyone's been talking about it. Do you think UCLA was robbed of the number one overall seed? And
Oh.
why?
I think that's a really hard conversation. Like I get the arguments for both sides. You know what I mean? Like there's UConn won 32 games in a row or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And we
undefeated
didn't.
season.
We lost one. And so like if we wanted it, we should have won that one. If we wanted there to
Okay,
be no debate at all, we should have won it. We gave them room to debate it.
okay. I could see an argument for that. Obviously, the flip side, if you're not familiar, is that UCLA had an unbelievable amount of quad one wins in 19 and so many ranked wins, not just quad one, which is like the net, but so many ranked wins. They dominated one of the best conferences in the country and then completely annihilated Iowa. I'm not gonna lie to you, Kyle. I thought the committee was gonna do it. I thought they were gonna give it to UCLA after what UCLA did to Iowa. I thought that was gonna be, which we have not talked about that.
Yeah, well,
But
we can briefly talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I part of me thought they were going to do it. Of course I think thought they were going to do it. I mean, UCLA is my team and I think they are very deserving of that number 1 overall seed with their strength of schedule. But it's like North Carolina on the men's side, right? If the committee can do something good for them, they're going to do it. And
yeah,
that's UConn on the women's side.
yeah. And we could probably switch over to the bracket, probably.
I would also say, like, in regards to that, like, it doesn't matter. Like, UConn wanted to go to Fort Worth and UCLA wanted to go to Sacramento. Like,
That's
that's
true.
that's what matters.
But we will get into one thing that does matter, and that is your path. Um, so okay, well, I guess the next big thing, you've mentioned it a little, but who were the teams to you that kind of I want to make this PG. Um, the committee didn't do them any favors in this bracket. Who are those teams and who got favors, if you want to name both?
Well, to look at the most favorable path, I think you have to move down to the number 4 region, actually. And I don't know that this is necessarily the committee's doing, right? Like, yeah, they made the bracket, of course. But
Hmm.
I look at this Sacramento 4 region, where South Carolina, and I think this is one of the easiest paths to the Final Four.
Yeah, well,
However, I also think that that's probably mostly because of conference realignment and the rules of where you can put teams and where you can't put teams.
I agree, and I agree with that. All right, so we'll run through it real quick. They will get likely the winner of Michigan State, Oklahoma, who Oklahoma did beat them in the regular season.
In
Very
overtime,
in
on
overtime.
a hope and a prayer from Malia Chavez when she went off for like 15 points in overtime. But yeah,
She
I'm
did
not expecting South Carolina to have any problems with Oklahoma the second time around.
no. And then it would be either a matchup likely, this is all likely, with TCU or Iowa. Do either of those teams, you don't think either of them can give South Carolina a run for their money?
I don't know. I think TCU, if you look at TCU, I think they're very dependent on Olivia Miles and Marta Suarez. And like you saw in that Big 12 championship game when they played West Virginia, if those two aren't hitting, TCU can't win.
They almost can't score. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. And then Iowa, we know, I don't think Iowa's that suited to beat the best teams in the country. Um,
It's interesting. I think that they we've seen them play both UConn and UCLA this year, and they
Hmm.
lost to both of them by like 23 and 26 the first time to UCLA and UConn respectively, and then in that Big Ten championship game by 51 to UCLA. Part of that
Hmm.
might be legs because they play 3 days in a row at that point, but so would we. So I don't really know what to think of that. I do think in this situation where there will be a bit more rest leading up to it, it might be something to watch. But I expect South Carolina to win that game versus this particular Iowa team.
Yeah, I think I agree. All right. All right. I think I agree with that's probably the easiest region. Should we flip over to the other side of the coin and what is the hardest
Do you want
region?
to talk about our not so friends across town in their first round matchup versus Clemson? That one could be interesting.
That could be interesting. Clemson's the 8, USC's the 9. Um, I don't know.
Especially with
I
how
think
USC has been playing as of late. Like,
which is poorly.
right.
Um,
Clemson, on the other hand, has had a really nice year in the ACC. And coming into it as a tournament team is big for them. And they've got a really good recruit coming in next year, so hopefully they can continue that upward trajectory. But
they do.
I don't know, that one screams pretty interesting to me. If not, we're getting another Battle of the SCs before the next installment, which will be much more
Yeah,
competitive than this last one.
absolutely. What do you think the hardest region is, Kyle? Which one should as we stick to I think we like talk about all the regions as a whole and then talk about individual matchups.
Yeah, sure. I mean, while we're down here, I want to call out that I don't necessarily think Texas has a super easy path.
Uh, what makes you say they want to say which team could give them a run for their money in either the Sweet 16 scenario or
Yeah,
even
I actually
honestly,
think either of the ones that come out of the bottom half of that bracket in Louisville or Michigan might have something to say if against Texas.
and then what about Kentucky or West Virginia? Do you think either of them could upset Texas in the Sweet 16?
Probably not. I don't remember when Kentucky and Texas played this year. I would have to pull that up. I can do that right here.
Oh, you don't have to. No, we don't
Kentucky.
have to do that. If we could just say, I don't think we need to know every game that happened.
Well,
Don't
I
remember
have
what
it
happened
right
in the regular
here.
season.
So
Okay, go
Texas
ahead.
won 64 to 53. Oh, that's right. I remember that game. Yeah, I don't think really. I don't think he was back for that game though.
And also of note, West Virginia is the host here, so that would be an upset by Kentucky.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm kind of expecting Kentucky
I
to
could
win
see
that,
that. I
but
think we'll talk about all the 4-5 matchups and the 6-3 matchups to see if we can see any upsets there. Uh, after we just go over the regions as a whole.
Texas having to go through whoever comes out of the bottom half in West Virginia or Kentucky, neither are easy teams to play. Granted, Texas will basically be playing a home game essentially. I mean, Fort
Yes,
Worth.
in Fort Worth.
So,
Um,
and then whoever comes out of the bottom half of that for their Elite Eight matchup, you're talking about Louisville or Michigan. Both are very good teams.
yes, neither won their respective conference tournaments, but it's
And
okay.
we've seen Michigan play three of the top five teams in the country this year in Vanderbilt, UCLA, and UConn. And they
Yes,
only lost by three to all of them.
they did.
Uh,
Yeah,
Texas, I think, is a tier below both UCLA and UConn. And Vanderbilt's probably a tier below Texas and South Carolina as well. But, that could be interesting. Michigan finally getting over the hump against one of those top teams, potentially.
maybe in the tournament it's their time. Do we want to talk about UCLA's region a little bit? Probably
Yeah.
considered the hardest one.
The other easy region
Um,
I would say is Fort Worth 1, UConn's. But I actually think that's just a credit to how dominant UConn is. Um, I think they'll win a lot of these games by some really jarring numbers.
well, let's just get it out of the way. There's no surprise. Everybody knew UConn and UCLA one was getting LSU, one was getting Vanderbilt. The committee had no choice. Um,
Yeah, and I thought it
y-
was going to be the other way around because there's a rule that you're not supposed to do it 3 years in a row.
yeah, and I will say scheduling out to prevent for an Elite Eight matchup is hard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to reward a team for their performance in the regular season, and they obviously thought that LSU earned the 7 and Vanderbilt had the 8 slot. And do you agree with that decision, Kyle? Do you think that was the right
Well,
call by the
no, I
committee?
actually think those are the fifth and sixth strongest teams in the country, but because of conference realignment, they have to be the 7 and 8.
Yes, exactly. Well, just the point stands though. What they considered LSU to have a stronger resume than Vanderbilt, it seems. Do
I
you
would
agree
not
with that?
agree.
I think I agree with you. I think Vanderbilt has the head-to-head. They
Yeah,
did they end up
they have a win
retiring?
versus Texas. LSU has a win versus Texas. Vanderbilt has a win over Michigan, another one of those two seeds. South Carolina
Mhm.
or LSU has two losses to South Carolina. They've got a loss to Vanderbilt. They've got a loss to Kentucky.
They do.
Vanderbilt's losses are to five seed Ole Miss, so very similar there. And then to Michigan and South Carolina. Is that it?
Yes,
They only have three
that is it.
losses.
They finished second in the SEC, correct?
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah,
I feel like they have another loss that I'm not thinking about.
maybe, but it's fine. I do believe that it should have been Vanderbilt as our two and LSU as their two. But I do think they looked at what TV could do
Oh, they
with
lost to
another
Georgia.
L. They looked at what TV could do with another LSU UCLA matchup, which has become a rivalry, and they wanted it. And also on the other side, Vanderbilt, Shea Ralph is a UConn alum.
Yeah, that could
Probably
be interesting in her knowing like some of Gino's tricks and things like that. I don't
yeah,
think they have the depth to get over the hump against UConn,
no,
but
and it's
it could be a closer game than we're expecting it to be.
yeah, it is just another storyline that ESPN loves to do. And at the end of the day, Kyle, it is entertainment, and that is what will probably get the most viewers. So, yeah, you want to talk about UCLA's region a little in depth here?
Yeah, and I'll come clean
Um,
here. I have no problem playing LSU. I actually don't think that. Don't come for me, LSU fans. But like,
or do.
I don't think like. I think either team could win that matchup. Obviously, I don't think LSU is like tiers and tiers and tiers below UCLA. They have
Agree.
a lot of talent. They have a very good coach. All of those things.
Mhm.
Um, I would be shocked if UCLA didn't win that matchup this year. What I
Yeah, I think it'd be
don't
a big
love
upset.
about that matchup is the way all the negativity on social media.
Yeah,
That's
it
my least
brings out
favorite
bad.
part of the UCLA LSU matchup.
It's not great. But to keep it on the court a little, UCLA could potentially play Ole Miss or Minnesota. Do either of those teams make you a little uneasy?
I mean, Ole Miss is a matchup of last year's Sweet 16 game
Yes.
for UCLA, and
It,
if we were to play LSU, it would be a matchup of last year's
I
Elite
know
Eight
we'd
as
get the
well.
same region.
Um,
Uh,
I know Minnesota's hosting. I really think Ole Miss is going to come out of that game.
yeah, I think that'll be a very good. It's a battle of two defensive teams. So I think it's just going to come down to who's putting the ball in the basket more, obviously, and who turns the ball over less.
And I think Minnesota might struggle a little with the level of athleticism and physicality that Ole Miss plays with.
I agree. I don't see them stopping Cody McMahon. She's just
Yeah.
too dominant when she wants to
I
be.
mean, you
But if
look at
her
what
shot,
Kiki was able to do against that defense.
yeah, I will say if Cody's shot isn't falling, then that could actually work against Ole Miss.
Hmm.
Just so we'll see. I'm excited for that one. That is one that I will be tuned into for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one.
Uh,
Another fun one, actually, in the first round, Gonzaga Ole Miss could be really fun. Lauren Whitaker is one of the best freshmen in the country. She plays for Gonzaga. Uh, Maybe a future Bruin, potentially.
okay, spill the beans. All right, should we go?
Manifesting, but that could be fun. You look at the bottom half of our bracket,
Yep,
Duke. I expect Duke to make it out of there. Rematch of day one, Duke versus
rematch of day one
Baylor.
again. I didn't even realize that until right now. Yep.
That was a nasty game.
I will say, do you think Oklahoma State or Princeton is a tougher matchup? Then Texas Tech. Did LSU get an easier 7
No,
seed than we got 8 or 9?
I don't know. I think Texas Tech could make things interesting. They have some size. They have good players. We'll see.
Hmm.
They were consistently ranked throughout most of the year this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, but let's just assume Duke LSU advance. Let's just assume that's going to happen. Uh, do you think Duke can uh, stop with the narrative? It's not going to happen. No more UCLA LSU rematch. Duke upsets LSU. Do you see that happening in any world?
I think Duke is a much better team than the first time they played LSU.
Agree.
I think LSU is also a better team than the first time they played Duke. Um,
Maybe. No, I'm serious about that.
it's going to come down to, in that one, which team is going to end up more locked in on defense, I think.
Yes. And Duke is a known defensive stalwart of a team. LSU can struggle on defense at times. So,
And Duke also, when it comes down to it, but another interesting thing in that game, should we get it, between Duke and LSU, both are really bad at late game free throw situations.
yeah, Blage has struggled in the clutch free throw
Flage,
situations
Toby
this year.
Fournier, notedly terrible at the line.
Yes, I think she's improved this year, just a
Yeah, a little
smidge.
bit.
But all right, should we go over to the UConn side, the
Yeah.
number one? So, okay, so I'm looking ahead here. Michigan, North Carolina as their 4 or 5. Uh, I mean, I just don't see either of those teams giving UConn any
You mean
trouble. Do
Maryland,
you?
North Carolina?
What did I say? Michigan? I think I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Well,
I
Maryland. I got.
Can I say something crazy?
Yes, yes, you can.
I think UConn might have a harder time with Audie Crooks than they have with Maryland and North Carolina.
I could see that because they don't really have a matchup for Audie Crooks, really.
I mean, Sarah Strong will be able to handle it, no doubt. But or like Jonna L. Alfie and Sarah Williams and all that. I
Yeah,
don't actually think there's a mismatch problem there necessarily. But Audie can go off for 45, 50 points in a game.
yeah, she can. And they're going to need her to.
And
So,
they've got Addie Brown. They've got Jada Williams. They've got some good players on that Iowa State team. And
yeah,
UConn has a ton of good players as well, not to discredit them. And I don't think that UConn will lose that game. But I
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if that was one of the closer games they played in this entire bracket.
I could see that. I mean, yeah, Addie Brown and Audie Crooks are great players.
It's kind of giving that Richmond game for us last year, where everyone was like, "Oh, UCLA shouldn't be a one seed, overall one seed, because they played this team so close." Well, Richmond, in reality, was a much better team than an 8-9 seed. They got the mid-major bias against them that kept them lower seeded than they should have been, and that's what happened there. And Iowa State doesn't have the same narrative there, but they fell off in the middle of the year when Addie Brown was injured. They went on
Yeah,
this terrible losing streak. They were really bad for a long time.
yeah,
Uh,
should be.
and they've rounded
Um,
back into form.
yeah, they have. Should we hop down to the bottom half of that bracket with it'll be most likely Ohio State versus Vanderbilt for that Elite Eight spot. Unless
Man,
you
there's
can
a
see an
lot of.
upset.
I think this might be one of the most fun sections of the bracket, this bottom half of the bracket here.
Hmm.
I don't know if you agree with that, but Notre Dame Fairfield has a lot of potential to be a really fun game.
Yeah,
Fairfield
Fairfield
is a
shoots a lot of
very,
threes.
very good mid major team. They've never gotten a win in the tournament, but if they're going to,
I think
against
this is the
this Notre
time.
Dame team,
Yeah.
feels like a possibility.
Kyle, I think I would pick this upset if I was doing a bracket this year. I think I would pick Fairfield to win this game. Hot take.
I picked Notre Dame, but I did think about picking Fairfield. They've never won an NCAA tournament game, and so I think the odds are against them in that category. They have a lot of really talented players, though. They are a very, very strong mid-major unit, and I would not be surprised if we end up seeing Ohio State versus Fairfield.
Yeah. And then if Notre Dame does advance, Jaylani and Hannah are
Hannah
very
Hidalgo,
similar
that'll be
players.
so fun. And Kennedy Cambridge in that matchup as well. She's very good defensively, a little bit like Hannah with the steals and all of that.
She does. She's the steals leader in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think all time now.
Wow, good
or
for
second
her.
all time.
All right. But let's just assume Ohio State and Vanderbilt advance to meet each other. Do you think Ohio State could challenge
Oh,
Vanderbilt?
absolutely. I think that could be maybe the most interesting potential Elite Eight matchup.
Yeah, and then
Or no, Sweet
I'll just
16. No, Elite Eight. No.
yes, Elite. No, Sweet 16. Yep, Sweet 16. Elite Eight, the one seed. Yeah, I was a little confused too. But and I will say, little bit of information here that I just thought of. If Ohio State advances to the Elite Eight, Ohio State is the last team to eliminate UConn before the Final Four. They did it in
All
Sweet
right, pack it
16
up. They lost by 30 to UConn
a
earlier this
few years
year.
ago. So will history repeat itself? Probably not, but it'd be a
Notedly,
fun.
I will say, I Notre Dame doesn't have a ton of talent beyond Hannah Hidalgo this year. But Hannah Hidalgo is absolutely the kind of player that can win you a game. And Ohio State has a terrible track record of winning tournament games at Ohio State.
Yes, they get upset quite a bit there.
So that might be something to keep an eye on should we get Ohio State Notre Dame. Another one
Yeah,
I'd be interested in potentially. I don't know that I would pick the upset, but man, is that Illinois squad good. And I think they can keep up with Vanderbilt.
good team. That'll be a good game. Even that
Yeah,
Colorado Illinois would be
Colorado,
good.
Illinois is going to be a good one too.
Are there any others? Let's talk about some of these first rounders. And you're not allowed to do an 8-9. That does not count. But are there any first round upset potentials that you're looking at other than that Fairfield one? Also, what doesn't count is Tennessee beating NC State.
I actually think there's a lot of the 8-9 ones that I would be looking at, but since we're not picking those,
It doesn't
um,
count as an upset.
LOL. Fairfield, I think, might be the only serious one I would consider. I might think Villanova could keep up with Texas Tech, but I don't know that they can pull out the win.
I agree with that. You did
Um,
mention earlier Gonzaga and Ole Miss. That could be an interesting one.
I don't think Gonzaga can win. I think they can keep it more interesting than people would think.
There is another one, Kyle.
I'm
James
gonna in the
Mad
bottom half of the bracket.
James Madison, weren't they one of the last undefeated teams this year or something along those
No, that
lines?
was last year.
Last year, I got my years mixed up.
Yeah, and I don't think
Uh,
against Kentucky. I think Kentucky has too much size.
yeah, I could see that too. I don't see any either. I think the women's tournament
South
just
Dakota
is
State,
not.
Washington, Brooklyn Meyer.
What's that? Yeah, I could see that. Washington really can score, and they rebound really well for their size. So that will. I don't know. I don't see any others either. I think it's going to be pretty much chalk.
I think it's going to
And
be a very chalky year, at least to the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
Although I
Um,
think there are quite a few fives that I would pick over the fours.
yeah, well, you want to call those out?
Yeah, I think Kentucky over West Virginia is an easy one for me right now.
I think I would probably pick that as well.
Um, Michigan State, Oklahoma could be really fun. I don't know that I would pick Michigan State, but they've come back to being much healthier than they were a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
So
I think that one is going to fall on is Reagan Beers going to get into foul trouble? That's like, you know,
that game could have a ton of offense
yes, I agree.
and not a lot of defense.
No.
Michigan
Um,
State's a better defensive unit than Oklahoma, though.
how about Maryland and North Carolina? Do you have a upset watch there?
I think Maryland could beat North Carolina,
I think too. I think there could be a world where
where
all the
all the
fives
fives beat
beat
the
all the
fours.
fives beat the fours. Yeah. How about 6-3s? Any 6-3 upsets? I know you already mentioned Hannah
Well,
Hidalgo.
and with the Maryland North Carolina one specifically, like I really thought Maryland was going to get that host slot and not North Carolina. So I don't know that I would consider that an upset per se, but
I agree. I don't know why they made that change because it was a last minute change. Really.
6-3 Maryland or Notre Dame Ohio State could be interesting. I don't know that it'll happen, obviously, but I
Yeah.
Baylor already beat Duke this year, but Duke has come leaps and bounds since game one.
Yes, I agree. That one's just and I think Baylor's not playing to their potential right now.
Correct. I would agree with that.
Um,
Um,
a kind of fun one because Alabama has played teams of Louisville's caliber all year long is that 6-3 Alabama Louisville.
yeah, I think
And then
Washington TCU could be another one.
I think Washington can win that. Like I I might pick that one too.
Yeah, Washington Sweet 16. But that only goes if like I think South Dakota State could also beat Washington. So
Yeah.
that goes out the window if, you know. But it's so interesting cuz like I might pick South Dakota State to beat Washington, but I wouldn't pick South Dakota State to beat TCU.
All right.
But I would pick Washington to maybe beat TCU.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is interesting. That's an
It's so
interesting
interesting
little
how some of those things fall. Who's Georgia's 11?
first four is up top or it's down at the bottom. It's down at the bottom. It is sorry, it's Georgia, right? There are seven.
Yeah.
It is Virginia or Arizona State.
Ooh.
Maybe Virginia could do it with
Mm-hmm. One of these first
what's
four
the
matchups I want to call
Yeah.
out. I think Nebraska and Richmond could be a really, really good game.
Yeah, that's tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Ooh,
Eastern.
exciting.
Yep, it gets underway. But all right, Kyle, do we want to give our little
Ah!
predictions of Elite Eights and Final Fours? What we think's going to happen, then we can advance the people, give the people what they want.
Where am I advancing?
And so just give who you think's going to give the make the
The
Elite
Elite
Eight,
Eight. Okay.
and then once we both say them, we'll say our Final Fours.
I'm going to say UConn, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Iowa, Michigan, Texas, Duke, UCLA.
Okay, so that notably is all of the ones and the twos except for Duke over LSU.
Well, I
Correct?
thought Duke was going to be a 2 seed, so
I thought that too. I actually thought. I mean, they would have
over
just made that.
Michigan probably.
Yeah. All right, I'll give mine. I think it's going to be South Carolina and Ohio State. Um, and I'll just go in order of region. Uh,
You mean
region
UConn
two.
and Ohio State?
I said South Carolina. I'm so sorry. UConn and Ohio State. Um, UCLA and LSU.
Okay.
Texas and Michigan, even though I think that could be a sneaky upset. I actually can see Michigan getting beat by NC State or Tennessee. Um,
Ooh, interesting.
they've been playing so bad lately.
I think Iowa just has their number.
Maybe and I'll pick South Carolina, and I will pick I'm gonna pick Iowa, and I think Iowa's gonna recover from their bad loss to UCLA. All right, Kyle, what's your final four?
It's UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, and as of now, Texas. But I could see a world where Michigan beats Texas.
Um, Yeah, I'm picking the same. I'm picking the ones. I'm UCLA, South Carolina, uh, UConn, and Texas. Okay, let's take it right
I
to the championship game.
just think that this year in particular, those 1 seeds are really on another level compared to everyone else.
I agree. There's only one that's not battle tested, and they're the best one. So,
Right, right.
uh, all right, go to the champ game. Who's in that champ game, Kyle?
I think we're on a collision course. I think it's UConn and UCLA.
I think it is going to be UCLA and UConn. I'm not doing it. I want to do it so bad, but I'm not picking South Carolina to beat UConn. All right, Kyle, who is winning the national championship?
I won't do it. I nope. We're not making that pick on here.
Uh, I'm gonna do it, Kyle. I'm gonna do it. The UCLA Bruins are gonna win the national championship. I
Do
can
you want
feel
to
it in
talk a
my
little bit
bones.
about why you might think that?
I just think last year you could take things away and we didn't know how to go to other things. This year, there's too much for UConn to take away. You know, you can't take away Charlize, Gianna, Gabs when she's hitting, Lauren, and Kiki. and Angela. Throw in Sienna because she was so good in the Big Ten tournament.
Shout out to
You
Sienna for
can't.
that Big Ten tournament. We didn't talk about it at all, but my God, was she good?
Oh my God, it was her best game of her career, and at the moment where I'm not gonna say we needed it because that game was in the bag, but it was great at moments. On national TV, she was so happy. The smile across her face was amazing. Um, yep, I think I have too much. We have too much for them. And I was thinking about this today. I wanted to talk about it when we were recording, so we can get like honest thoughts, honest feedback. How are they gonna rebound with us?
I mean, that wasn't a problem for them last year.
No, but we're better now. Rebounding specifically, we're such a better rebounding team than we were last year.
I agree. I I think UCLA can beat UConn, and I think UConn can beat UCLA.
Oh yeah,
I know that's a cop out answer, obviously,
but do
but
you disagree with anything that I said?
no, I don't. I would say that I think the road to UCLA winning is more narrow than the road to UConn winning.
So are you saying that more has to go right for UCLA to win than for UConn? Is that kind of what you're getting
I
at?
think so.
Okay, I can see that too.
Because I
Uh,
think we've seen this year, there's only one way to slow UConn down, and we don't do it.
it's turning them over, really.
It's ball pressure. And
Yeah,
that's not something we excel in. Tennessee did it really well for the first half of that game when they played. So well that they were leading at the half. And then UConn stormed back and
they did.
smothered them.
Um, yeah, I so that's what we have a bracket. Any other thing you want to talk about with the bracket, Kyle? Any questions you want to ask?
I'll say if we're going to win that game versus UConn, it's probably going to be in a similar vein to winning against Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament. I think Lauren's going to have to step out and guard AZ Fudd like she was
Yes.
guarding Jelani Cambridge. I think the path to winning that game is you let Sarah Strong kind of do what she wants, but contain her as much as you can.
Hmm.
And if she scores 30 points, so be it. I think we can let her score 30 points and still win that game. But the key is we can't let them set up other people really nicely
I
outside
agree.
of those two.
Yeah,
And if
I mean, I
Lauren
agree.
is on AZ Fudd, that's going to create some longer shots for AZ to have to take. Shooting over Lauren's length might bother her, you know. And as we've seen, Lauren has the foot speed to keep up with those really quick guards. I'd put Jelani in the same category as AZ in that vein. So,
Yeah, and I just want to like it's no disrespect to UConn. I just really believe in UCLA. And the last thing I'll say is I think this championship game, if it happens, has everything it takes to be one of the best championship games of all time.
I mean, these are two of the greatest teams ever assembled, probably.
Hmm.
They're very, very good teams. And I want to be clear, like, I don't dislike UConn. I know they did us
No,
really dirty in last year's national championship game. Or
yeah,
Final Four game, not national championship. But I don't
but
have anything against them as a
no bad
team,
blood.
really. And if they win, I'll be happy for them, sad for us. But
Oh,
I
I won't
just,
be happy
we've
for them.
had. We've had a really, really great run with this group.
Yeah,
Um, and it's coming to an end here. And I just want a fairy tale ending for them and
I mean, me too.
not a
Yep.
real life ending.
Not a this is life kid ending. Yeah. Uh,
Corey always talks about how it's the people you affect and the lessons you learn from that are going to stay with you after you leave UCLA and aren't
exactly.
playing with them anymore. And
No
not the
one's gonna
banners
remember,
that hang in
not the
gyms and stuff
stats.
like that.
No. Yeah.
But
But I
I
mean,
think they're going to be really upset, obviously, should they not win.
and it's because we know that they put in the work. That's why I want it so bad for them. That's why I think they
I
can do it.
want
Because
it
we
so. I mean, I'm
know,
sitting here tearing up just thinking about
yeah,
it. But it's like,
that,
if it doesn't happen, yeah, I'll be devastated. But
like
I don't hate the other team.
if it happens, Kyle, Kiki Rice would have like completed her mission of
No, and
wanting
that's like,
to go to a program and build it. And she did it. It's built. but it would just be like, you really did it, Kiki. You really did it.
It's it's what I was talking about to you the other day, and we have to wrap up here, but I want to
Mhm.
talk about this really quickly. For the longest time, the media always said that when a really good team hits it in a really marketable area, like Los Angeles, for example, or one of those other really big cities, when a team hits it in a major media market, then that's when everything's going to change and everything's going to get the respect it deserves. And they chose USC and not UCLA for that story, even though we're
Mhm.
doing it the first. If this was a 31-1 USC team led by Juju Watkins, I don't think we'd be having problems having the team get covered. Do you
I
agree?
agree. Yeah, and just
And
like
maybe that
where
has to do with the level of balance that our team has, the level of unselfishness that the players possess themselves. But the stories are still there to tell. There's the story of Kiki going to UCLA as a freshman, wanting to bring them their first national championship, and now in her senior year, having her career year, her best year ever, and having the opportunity to do it. There's Lauren and Sienna. There's Charlize wanting to be the first New Zealander to stick in the WNBA. There's Gianna Neepkins being an unranked recruit out of high school, now contributing on a national championship caliber team.
exactly. We had so many things that, but I'm excited. I'm a little nervous because anything can happen, and like we could be the team that gets upset, and then I would be embarrassed. But I'm more than anything excited. I'm excited to watch it unfold. We've been waiting for this moment, Kyle, and it's here.
I know we've been talking about it ever since last
The end of
April.
last year. Let's amend that. We've been talking about it ever since we got Gianna.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been talking about it since Sienna committed.
Yeah. All right, but how much time do we have left, Kyle? Jeez.
I know, a long time, but it's it's here, it's happening, ready or not. Here
Ready
it
or
comes.
not?
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Bruins podcast. You can find us on YouTube, on Instagram and Twitter at BruinsPod. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, leave your hate, your vitriol, your love, and support in the comments, and we'll respond to all of you. I promise. Uh,
Yes.
Anything else to say, Stevie?
No, no, just excited. Let's go frickin' Bruins.
I just want to say that we're really appreciative that we get to talk about their stories, even if other people aren't willing to.
Yes, we've been here the whole time.
Anyway,
All right.
thank you all for listening.
Goodbye.
Have a great night, a day, whenever you're listening.
Whatever.
Bye bye.